just being mindful of everybody's time. Thank you all for taking some time to join us this morning. Everybody on the call is aware of the Lifetime Promise program, or should be, or will receive some more information today about the Lifetime Promise program, which is really an incredible, unique program that I imagine sets us apart from some of the competitors in our market, because not very many people have a program like this. And so we wanted to take some time to have Kevin, who is an expert at this program and has been selling it and marketing it for quite some time. And he has some really good information and feedback to share about strategies and how to try to sell this program so that our new folks, when they're moving in, we can sign them up and they can take advantage of this really great program that we offer. So without further ado, Kevin, I will hand it over to you and let you begin.
Well, thank you, Jill. Hi, everybody. Good to see everyone. We'll keep this on track and relatively quick. So I'm going to attempt to share my desktop if I am this tech savvy. Hold on. Takes me a sec. Maybe. There we go. Let me do this. Clear this up. And minimize everything. All right, let's go back up to the beginning. Okay. So our Lifetime Promise, it's not available in every community across Compass right now, but approximately 10 are doing this. And a little backstory on it, we kind of fell into this from a company that Compass acquired some properties from here in the Wisconsin area. They use the term like a locked-in rate, and we've softened it to a lifetime promise. So we kind of took that and kind of grew with it, and it's been pretty successful across our area. So we want to explore this and use it as a marketing tool that does set us apart. So we're just going to kind of go through. I just have a few slides to go through with you guys. But we just started off as, what exactly is a promise? Well, this comes right from a dictionary, but what's interesting is that it can be used as both a noun or a verb. And so examples are, what happened to those promises of support? Or he promised to do this or that. We use the word promise in our applications as kind of more of a verb. We are promising that we will do something. And that something is not to raise their rates based on inflation, adjustments, or care levels. So that's exactly what that means. It's a promise. What are some of the other, actually, I'm going to go in this way. Sorry. Let's go into the slideshow. There, that's better. Now you'll see some of this fun stuff. What are some of the other words you can think of when you hear the word promise? There's a bunch of synonyms for it, right? Some might be insurance or a pledge. It's your word of honor. It's a guarantee. That one probably comes up the most in this application. We guarantee we are not changing rates. It's an oath. Maybe it's a bond or simply a vow. Those are all words people think of when you think of the word promise. So then I have just some quick stats that are going to help tie in why we do what we do. So basically, I got these stats just off of this Genworth site. And across the U.S., the average cost of living the average cost for assisted living, $4,051. Memory's a little bit more. It's roughly 5. It was a little over 5,000. That's a lot of money. But the significant part that I saw was that there's almost a 3% annual growth rate over the last 5 years. If you take that growth rate, that on the assisted living side, that's about $120 increase a month, just on your base rate. You couple that with like a care level, And a lot of our communities use care levels. Maybe they're, 2, 4, 6, 8, 4, 8, 12, 16 extra per month. That care level could jump up. So it could easily be $500+ a month more than it was last year. Very easy, just by this simple calculation. We also are facing our baby boomers, which are just exploding into our market. By 2030, 1/5 of our entire population is going to be 65 or older. And if you look at that bottom thing, 65 a day have been turning 65 and will continue for the next 18 years. So there is going to be a lot of people coming in, a lot of people with discretionary funds, but they're savvy shoppers now. They're used to getting more for their buck. And so some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about is going to help position our communities to be able to capture those consumers. Some more stats here. According to caring.com, they had an interesting thing saying the best affordability states and the worst affordability. Well, Compass currently operates in 3 of these states that are on the list. I'll put a plug out to the best affordability, number 4, Wisconsin, being on that list. Surprisingly, the worst affordability was in New Mexico, and number 7 was in Arizona. There are different factors that go into this, but it still belies what we need to talk about, because we are spreading across different regions in our area. But this does have merit. People are savvy with their money. So all of that is a backdrop. Like, what is our lifetime promise? It's very, very, very simple. It is this: you'll never have a level of care increase, and you will never have an annual increase, ever. That's our promise to you. This language, this quote, is on our marketing materials that we have, that Tina has helped provide. It is available to every one of our communities that does offer the lifetime promise. I think it's a powerful, simple statement, because it just says exactly what it is. There's no fluff involved, no used car salesman, none of that. So how does it work? Some of you are probably pretty familiar with it. Some I've talked with before. But in summary, most communities are going to offer a base rate, and that rate can vary. It varies, room size or the settings. For instance, here in Green Bay at Windermere, all of ours are studios, but we offer 2 different base rates depending on the size or location of those studios. So again, it's giving choice and variables for individuals. And I'll touch on that in a moment. Obviously, the additional costs are assigned to levels of care. They're determined through the assessment, and they're added to that base rate. So those can all change if somebody doesn't take lifetime promise, or if we're at a community that doesn't offer it, a competitor. That can change, and it's uncontrollable. But with us, with the lifetime promise, it's a fixed amount, and it's only offered at that one time, at the time of move-in. You can't choose, like a month later saying, oh, that's a great idea, I should have done that. Sorry, it is a one-time shot. So some examples for the cost of care. So just to kind of put numbers in a picture in front of what I'm talking about, you look on the left, there's no lifetime promise. And the ones in red are what I'm referring to in the example. So you got a base rate of $39.95, and the person is a level 1. So they're going to pay $43.95 and roll the dice and hope that nothing changes. Well, we all know, being in our industry, that it always changes. Over time, our care needs increase. And as our care needs increase, so will cost. Plus, you have to put in that 2.97% annual increase. That's just on average. Some regions are much higher. So then you look on the right side and you see the lifetime promise. And how it usually works is, again, base rate's the same, but this person also was still a level 1. But what we offer in our program is to be able to lock in or choose the care level 1 level higher than what they were brought in at. So in this case, they would pay the level 2 rate, but then that's it. And that's $47.85 in this example forever. They can throw any scenario at you and you can calmly answer them. That would be $47.95. Whether it's 2 months, 2 years, 5 years, doesn't matter. So that gives just kind of an idea of how we do what we do and gives an example, visual example for you. So why do we offer it? You know, what's in it for us? What's in it for the consumer? Well, it provides a sense of control over an uncontrollable situation. So for family members, especially the POAs that are doing financing, they don't know what the future holds. Nobody does. But this gives them a sense of that control, makes them feel empowered. It eliminates the what if scenarios. I oftentimes have families say, well, what if my husband needs additional care? What if my husband needs a lift? What if my husband needs therapy? What if this? What if that? And I tell them, don't worry about it. He will receive his care, but you won't pay that extra for it. So it eliminates those questions. It helps give them peace of mind. I think it shows compassion and empathy on behalf of our communities of Compass regarding the costs associated with senior living. I'm the first one to acknowledge the fact that this is a lot of money. Every month it's a lot of money. You worked hard for it. Well, this is a way of trying to preserve and protect those finances. So embrace that, acknowledge it, share with them that, yeah, you understand, but this is something that we can help them with. It obviously helps a family in long-term financial planning. If you are taking care of, you know, your grandpa's or grandma's finances, they have a pot, okay? They have the pot of money in there. And there's only so many times that withdrawals can be made before that pot goes empty. Well, this will allow them to essentially understand when in the future that pot would go empty. It wouldn't change because, again, in our example, $47.95 goes into $125,000 this many times. So I tell families, hey, 15 months, 28 months from now, put in a reminder in your phone that you need to start talking about alternate funding with like the Medicaid program. So it helps them again. It creates that feeling of consumer control by giving them a choice in the healthcare field where we don't normally have choices. We don't get a lot of choices in healthcare. But here we do, because you don't have to take this, but we're gonna provide you with reasons why you should and maybe reasons why you shouldn't. But you, as the final sayer of decisions, have the ultimate choice. And that empowers people. And again, it's about empowering them to feel comfortable with their decision. It can increase your monthly move-ins. I'm a firm believer, and I know Dennis is a firm believer, that we got some additional move-ins simply because we do offer this and our competitors don't. So it helped tip the scales on some of our move-ins. You're unique. You stand out among your area competitors. Everybody is doing just about what everybody else does. Yeah, meals and laundry and life enrichment. And I know we do everything different, but everybody offers that. What makes us more unique in it? Well, our lifetime promise is one of those things that make us unique. So how do we market this? What do we do? Some of the things that I've found that have been effective is, if possible, bring up your pricing options and costs and that whole discussion at the end of your phone call or your tour, if possible. Sometimes they'll lead it in a different direction. That's fine. Go at it. But I find doing it at the end is advantageous. And why I find it advantageous is because people are generally going to remember the first and last thing they see or hear in their encounter. And I like to be able to leave them with something besides, our touring gift, or, our thank you gift, is this. Because they might be going to see 2-3 other places, or they just did see 2 or 3 other places. What's going to make us stand out? They're going to go home and they're going to talk, and they're going to go, hey, what was that place that, they offered us that promise? That will get them to think about us. And that's what we want them to do. You want them to remember, again, the communities from the others. This helps. You describe the benefits of knowing a fixed cost. No changes. Simple. You don't get many guarantees in life, but this is one of them. Gas prices change daily sometimes, right? Well, healthcare changes. Healthcare costs don't need to do that. It's a fixed. It helps, and I talked about this before, it helps them prepare for alternate funding. They're in control of that. I compare the lifetime promise to like their budget plans on utility bills. I don't know if that's offered throughout the country, but I'm assuming most places do. Here in Wisconsin, winters can be cold and your heating bill goes through the roof. I'm sure in Arizona that the cooling bills go through the roof in summertime. Well, that can help explain what this program means, and they can relate to this by comparing it to it. If they're on a budget plan, go, hey, every month you're paying this, and you avoid the spikes that can come with high usage. Share your info about how much your fees have increased over time. There's no harm in that. Say, yes, I do it all the time. I'm like, yep, here's our, our pricing. And just for instance, our fees, our base rate went up $200 last year. And the year before that was $100. Give them real numbers, because if you just discuss generalities, they might think you're just kind of like a used car salesman and not giving them specifics. Be specific, share. And then connect with the family through personal experiences. Share your stories. If you have other experiences you had with prior families, obviously don't use names, but talk about situations where this family was, on the fence about it and they ultimately chose to do it. Or conversely, another family didn't and they really wish they would have because they had a life-changing event with their loved one. And then one of the most important things is just keep reiterating that they're in control of this decision. It doesn't matter to the community personally. It doesn't matter to Kevin personally if they take our lifetime promise or if they decline it. There's no incentive. So make sure they don't think that we're working at Best Buy and getting commission on something like this. It's not that. It's to help. And then provide the clear and concise marketing materials that are available through our resources with Tina. Get those things in your collaterals to be able to hand out so that they have that take behind to take with them, that leave behind to take with them, so they can look at it when they're discussing with families. And overall, it's part of our mission. It's goodness, loyalty, faith, and fun. This is loyalty. This is being loyal to our new family members, our new extended family, by saying we're going to be loyal to this, we're going to promise. So in summary, hey, costs rise every year, about 3%. I know it's a little bit higher in our area, in Wisconsin. That lifetime promise eliminates that. It's gone. You improve your market presence through these unique programs. It's going to make you stand out. It's your billboard. It is your market ad, and it's not costing you anything to go put this out there. It provides that consumer control that I believe is really important in today's society, especially when coming to senior living. They want to have some control. And then, of course, it's going to help increase our revenue and market share by providing a higher census, because we believe that this type of program can help increase the amount of people you have moving in. That's about it. I'm happy to take any kind of questions that you guys might have, and just roll with it from there. We find it works, especially Northeast Wisconsin. It's probably about 65% to 70% of all of our current communities that offer it, people have taken advantage of. So thanks.
Thank you, Kevin. Are there any questions?
Jenny and myself, Gina, we have a couple questions, and thank you, Kevin.
Yeah.
We currently use this program. It's wonderful. 2 questions. What we've been doing is, if somebody comes in as an independent, they don't get they're not offered the lifetime promise until they have at least one level of care. And is that what you've been doing?
Yeah, and Heatherwood's got a little different situation there too. So if people have communities where there's a base rate, and then there's like a zero care level, so there's no increase in care. So example, $39.95 is your base rate, but they don't have any cares, zero. They fall into that zero thing. They could still take advantage of the lifetime promise but lock at that care level 1. So if your care level 1 was like 400, so they would lock at that $39.95 plus 400 be $43.95. They're locked. And I found majority of people that would come in on the lower care levels will take advantage of our lifetime promise, because they know their needs are going to increase shortly. So you can still use it. It's just sometimes families might be like, well, I don't want to pay $400 more a month for maybe a year without needing it. But then you go the what if questions. What if something changed in 3 months? What if this happened and now somebody jumps to a level 2 and now it's 800 more because they had a stroke, and now they have limited mobility and need 2-person transfer. This helps prepare them for those instances and protects them financially in the long run. Short term, Compass would come out ahead a little bit, but over the long term, it balances out.
Because we've been waiting until they got the one level of care before, at an assessment, then we would say, at this time, because you are at a level 1, you can lock into level 2. So you're saying if they come in as independent, they want to lock in at level 1, we can do that. Yeah,
because it's normally offered at move-in only. So that's something that, we can look at, but I would be leaning towards at the time of move-in, here's your option to be able to take our lifetime promise or not. And it would just be a +1.
One thing that we have been doing here at Heatherwood as well, we were waiting until their 30-day reassessment to offer the lifetime promise. So should we be doing that at the time that we do all the initial move-in paperwork instead of waiting that 30 days? Because sometimes, if they come in from rehab, maybe they're at a level 3, but then after 30 days, they're really settled in, and then we know what level they truly are at. So do we not wait that 30-day period?
That's actually a great question. I haven't had that experience come back in there. I would leave that up for debate. I think there's always, this isn't in concrete. There's good parameters to use, but it ultimately comes down to, each community making that judgment call. So in something like that, where the professionals from, the rehab department all are saying, this is going to be temporary. They should be recovering. I wouldn't see any harm in it. I just wouldn't be doing that on a consistent basis. We've done it right off from the start. Like, you got this, you're moving in Wednesday. I just need to know at the time you're signing the paperwork.
And Kevin and all, I'm not on video, but talking here. This is Dennis, and I think the reason that it's best to do, or at least the theory that it's best to do at move-in, is because offering it and them accepting it is often the reason they are moving in. Mm-hmm. So if you simply wait the 30 days and then you give them an opt-in, it kind of defeats the purpose, because the purpose is to get people to move in to start with. So I would say we should do it at move-in, because, if we wait the 30 days, and I do realize that it's hard to know sometimes the exact level that someone's in, but the purpose of the program is to increase the number of move-ins. And that wouldn't be the case if someone chooses to move in and then decides, oh, well, I'll lock in or not lock in. So I would say we want to do it at move-in to help influence the move-in decision.
Yeah, I would agree. That's how we've been doing it. And remember, it's a choice. The family doesn't have to take it. So if they were a high level 3 and they think their loved one will be a level 1 in 30 days, that's fine. You guys are going to do a reassessment and bill accordingly, according to that, and their rate would go down. They just wouldn't be locked at our lifetime. So
yeah, and really what we Kevin mentioned earlier is, I think the complete value of the program is it increases the number of people we will have move in. I really believe that thoroughly, because I think it's the decider, so to speak. It's the thing that helps people make that decision, because it gives them that level of comfort. We do often get asked by lenders and other people, Kevin mentioned the cost of living increase goes up. So yes, it's comfort to the family that they don't have to worry about that. But what happens to us as the community, as the business, if we can't raise our rates for a select number of people? And, that's where we've looked at this and decided it's like an insurance actuarial. And Kevin, I hope I'm not repeating anything you already said, because I got in a little late, but is that it's, there is a point where if someone lives with us for a certain number of years, where we will receive less money than we would have if we could raise the rates. But the length of stay is, unfortunately only 2 years or less in senior housing. And so chances are, if we get $400 or so more dollars per month the first 18 months, then we're going to be ahead in the long term in terms of the overall revenue. But even more important than that, I think it takes our occupancy percentage up to a different level, because there will be a few of those people that only move in and don't choose someone else because of this option. So, and it's hard to, it's hard to put an exact number on that, but just anecdotally talking to Kevin and others, that is the decision maker often for people, and especially if it's, if it's sold correctly, if it's presented correctly. I do find that some areas, Kevin uses it almost all the time. Other areas, it's just not that seemingly appealing to people, but I think that may be in the presentation. So if you're not finding people thinking this is a great thing, it may be in how we're presenting it. So definitely assess that. All yours, Kevin.
Yeah, well, the money is always the hard part in our conversation when we're meeting with families. It's always the ugly part of our business. This softens it. Don't be afraid about it. Don't, just jump into it and go, hey, look, here's something unique. Nope, I can guarantee you that XYZ and ABC around the corner, they don't have this. Mm-hmm. But here's what we have, and think about it. Mm-hmm. And it really, really resonates if if you're selling it and if you're explaining it and just showing the benefit of it. And then again, saying, hey, the choice is yours, but we offer it as an appreciation of how everything's changing. You don't want to be here today. This is a tough situation. Nobody wants to leave their home. Well, here's one less thing to worry about. When you go home, your head hits the pillow, you don't have to worry about all that stuff. You can just go back to being, quote unquote, a daughter, a son, a husband, a wife, a grandchild. Don't worry about the finances. That's set. So it just makes a difference.
One thing I want to add, Kevin, is that we do not offer this program in all of our communities. So just be aware of that when you're talking to your colleagues out there that also work for Compass. It's not something that we offer in every single community, but those of you on the call, we obviously are offering it in your communities. And also, Dennis does like to be involved in the approval process for this program if we're going to add it to a different community. So there's definitely that process that is in place. So, but all of you on this call are, have access to the program, and we strongly encourage you to use it because, as Kevin said, and as I said at the beginning, it really is a differentiator for us. It's something that really can set us apart from our competitors because probably nobody in your market is offering it. So let's take advantage. So any other questions or comments?
Hi, is my mic working?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to share with, I guess, maybe get some feedback on what we're doing. We have out of, I think the 33 people, so we're memory care, the 33 people that can take advantage of it, 29 of them use the lifetime promise here at Region Court. And I think it is 100% about how you present the lifetime promise to someone. And I guess the way I've been doing it is I'll start with the price at the end of the tour, and that'll lead into it doesn't have, you have control over this, like you were talking about. And so I start with that, and then I tell a story about someone that's been here for over 5 years, or someone that has used it for years and years, and how they're paying a lot less. And I give them that number. I'm like, this person is paying literally thousands less than people now because they use that promise. That's always kind of a real good hook to get them in. And then after that, if they're still on the fence about it, I share about, like you said, our prices, exactly what they've gone up in the last year. Like they went up $500, I'll share them. And I kind of go on their side. I know that might be a weird thing to do, but I kind of say, well, it's not my money. I'm not getting a commission. I tell them that I don't get a commission when you move in. And so I tell them, if you want the best deal, look at this as if I was on your side. And I tell them, if your loved one is going to live over 2 years, this is going to be beneficial for you. And you never know. We're in memory care. I say you never know how long someone's going to live, even if you think they're at the tail end of their life. People are very strong. And so phrasing it that way seems to work really well. I'm sure there's, maybe you could give me tips and tricks on that process, but it seems to work really well.
Yeah, there's a reason you have 29 out of 33. You just nailed it. Exactly it. That's perfect. That's awesome, Zeth. Awesome.
Cool.
Anything else, guys? All right.
Kevin, just another quick question here. We do not offer that in our the lifetime promise in our memory care. Are we supposed to be offering that in memory care as well?
No, that's all. Again, Jill had mentioned on that too. If it isn't something that's offered in one specific area, we can't just launch it right now. Okay. We would talk that over with Dennis and determine, is that something that would be beneficial for each location going forward. So just keep doing how you guys are doing it.
Right, because often in memory care we have a flat rate or we have minimal service level increases. when we are looking to do it in memory care, it's when we put into place a 4 levels above a base rate system, because if we don't have additional levels or just 1 or 2 levels, it's not as encouraging to lock in if you don't suppose you're going to be going up several levels over the course of your stay. So that's it, exactly. If you're not doing it someplace, get on the phone with your regional director and me, and we can talk through it and see if we want to revise anything.
And then in terms of revisiting the 30 after the 30-day assessment, we don't have any problem with people moving in. And I don't, Jenny and I don't feel as comfortable not offering that 30-day assessment, because what I don't feel, or what we don't feel comfortable with, is someone coming back from rehab, they locked into level 3, but they're truly a level 2.
But that's where they would have taken our lifetime promise. If they were truly a level 2, they would have needed to lock 1 level up at a 3. So in that,
they're really a level 2 when they come back. You know, like they get some adjusting, you know, a couple walks, 2 weeks of therapy, but now they're truly a level 2.
Okay. Well, what we can do, guys, since I'm coming to visit you guys shortly, let's talk about that when I come out there then. Okay. All right.
I have a question.
Just for the sake of time, guys, sake of time. So anyway, if there's nothing else, guys, I thank you.
I have a question. This is Nancy from Pennington. What if somebody comes into the AL, you lock they have the lifetime promise, and then they transition to the memory care? Do you tell them when they're moving in that in case they will ever go to the memory care, the rates will change to the memory care rates, or how do we handle that?
That's a great question. So we had the same thing here at Marla Vista, and a promise is a promise. So I use that also because we have both AL and memory care. And I use that example all the time because it's not always a given that somebody's going to need a secure setting. But if, there's the what if, we're going to stand behind it. It is our promise to you.
Kevin, I will say, oops, I just knocked stuff off the desk here, but in that case, a promise is a promise. And even if we wouldn't offer locked in, like at Heatherwood, we don't offer it, it could transfer, but at the memory care rate.
Yeah.
Just a clarification there.
Yeah, at the memory care rate. Sorry. Yes. All right. Well, thank you guys. Went a little longer than I thought, but good questions. And I'm always available, email, phone, text, whatever it is. Just reach out and I'll be happy to help answer questions. But thank you guys.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Thank you, Kevin. Have a great day, everyone.
You too.